Hey, everybody, we're live, and here we are back with our segment, Westworld for Beginners. And it's me, Jen, Lady Wolverton, LMR, and we've got Johnny B. Crazy, our somebody I consider to be a little bit more in tune with Westworld than most people. So, um, gonna say hey to everybody in the chat. Hey, Marie. Hey, Mackenzie. Hey, Emanuela. It's good to see you all. Let's get this jumped off right away. LMR, if you'll go ahead and introduce yourself, and then Johnny.
Hi, everyone. It is, what is it today? Tuesday, right? So
It is.
it's awesome. I don't know. It feels like Friday. I don't know. But we are here today talking about Westworld. So it's always a pleasure to be here to talk about this interesting stuff with everybody. Yep. Thanks, Jen, for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Johnny?
And I'm Johnny B. Crazy, and it's just good to be here with LMR and Jen and talking about Westworld. And I've got a channel, Johnny B. Crazy. I'm doing Westworld videos. I'm trying to get better. So please subscribe and give me some advice. And thank you, Jen, for having me on. I can't wait.
You're very welcome. I hope, I predict that your channel is going to really blow up. So when you have like millions of subscribers, hopefully you'll still come on with us, with the small people, with the little people.
I'll never forget where I come from, but I doubt that's going to happen.
All right. Okay, so where shall we start? Where shall we start, you guys? Why don't you start us off, LMR?
Oh, I was just in the chat. So, where do we start today? So, I guess Johnny and I were talking about a couple topics to discuss, and this is, I guess, the chat for beginners, but also for those who want to, I guess, try something new today. Johnny, you mentioned something about maybe talking about Maeve. Do you want to start over there, or do you want to start?
Yeah, we can talk about Maeve if you want to talk about whether she unlocked her power or she found her power. It's more of I think she's just accessing the code and the hive mind, like Bernard was talking about with the ant colony and how they all kind of connect together so they can coexist, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and I see such a huge difference. In the beginning, I thought that both Maeve and Dolores are gonna go kind of similar direction, more like joining forces. And this is kind of nice to see it now that they're kind of, maybe they're going towards the same end, or they have the same kind of goal in mind, but they're taking a completely different approach to it. So this is interesting to see how it's going to turn out.
Right. And Maeve, it's interesting. Last episode, she basically gets to look in the mirror, which I believe Delos is muttering something about that when he was dying, about the devil looking up at himself and laughing. It kind of reminds me of Hector getting really, really ticked off at himself, basically. Like, yeah, I would be that way. I would be Hector in that situation. But yeah, she's. Oh, go ahead.
I had a question. So Hector, what's his name? The guy that kind of that attacks them in the beginning. Is that Hector?
That's the Hector Doppelbot.
Yeah. That's why they kind of have this tension between them, right? Like he's like, oh, I want, just give me whatever, say a word and I'll something, right? So.
Right. Well, you know how some people, they see themselves and they like themselves. Some people see themselves and all they can see is the flaws in themselves. So that's how I would be. So I'd be like, oh, what's up with this guy?
I'm one of those people. And do you know that I've heard many times that when you meet somebody, sometimes when you don't like them, it's because you see characteristics that are your own in them. And it triggers something in you to be like, I don't really like them. And
Yeah.
it's because you see some negative things you don't like about yourself within them.
Right.
Oh, completely agree. Go ahead, Johnny.
Oh, I was just gonna make the point that Maeve, told Lee Sizemore that she thinks she found her own a new voice now. So I believe she has almost fully accessed everything in her CPU.
So with that new voice, what do you? I mean, I'm still not sure how that whole thing will be. I mean, Maeve can access or control, not even access, I guess access, control other hosts just by using her mind, like, wireless receiver or whatever you call it. Or not a receiver, the other one.
Johnny referred to it as Blu-ray.
No, like Bluetooth, or you're syncing up with another cell phone.
Yeah.
Exactly, but with that, like, if she
make
can
it
do
easy.
it, she's just a host who can do that. What if it's somebody else uploading that stuff into her brain and like just giving her that voice? That's the only thing. There's still that portion in who's controlling whom. Like, are they really all three? I mean, we won't know until we know, but it's fun speculating. Like, we see that this is we see it as their own choices and their own decisions, but I don't know because
that's why I love this show so much, because I am so into Game of Thrones and so invested. But with Westworld, I just sit back and it is just pure entertainment for me. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about in the chat?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And we see Bernard seems to almost kind of use it. I know he whispers something into the main drone's ear, but then he just looks at all the rest of them and they kill themselves.
Yep.
We saw Angela do it to stop all the hosts, to show Logan the room was all hosts. And I think Ford probably had like a brain implant or something, and that's why he was able to do it. That's my best guess. We'll never know. They're not going to explain that to us ever. It's more about, what is humanity?
Can we talk about this then? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about Delos for a minute, who I like to refer to as the guy in the room.
Okay.
Like in that one movie, the guy on the couch, he's like on the couch the entire time. Delos is just in this room. So,
they didn't have to show him spanking it, by the way. That was uncalled for.
But I think the whole idea behind it was like he thought he's in private, in a private room, and we thought he's like, okay, it's just him and us, like, okay, let's watch it.
Yeah.
But apparently it's not just us, kind of about it. Like, okay, he's gotta do what he's gotta do. But it's everybody watching him. He's like a rat in that little glass room.
It's weird, but a host human has to live in a loop as well. So
yeah,
that's jacked up. Even if you do live forever, you don't remember every day.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm getting lost here.
Okay, so he's been in there 7 years, but to him it's been a few weeks, right? Is that what he told William?
He's been in there longer than that by the end.
Okay.
In the beginning, I think, I can't remember exactly, but he's been in there since he died right after William bought the park.
Yeah.
And William's been testing on him ever since. They made an agreement, I'm assuming. That's the agreement they made in the town of Sweetwater. And that was William's big idea, or one of them. I still think there's something else, but I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, I also wanted to say, just kind of adding to that last room, is that it's the same thing about guests who come there. They think they're in private. They're doing their own thing with whoever they're doing it with in the room, and they think they're, it's nobody's watching, but like they said before, everybody's watching. So
I think the cradle too.
Like imagery. I'm sorry, who?
The cradle. What they keep talking about. I know it's a simulator, but I believe that has all the experiences, the past experiences are already in there. I think that's a database as well. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's just about the imagery stuff. Kind of, and there's a lot of that over there. Just kind of different things they say. And speaking, what's the name for that place where there's that control room with people sitting kind of like not in the ground but like low, really low? What's that place called? Do you know, Johnny?
It's the room with the map. I can't.
Yeah. Okay.
It might just be the control room.
Okay, so that room
I can't
with
remember off the top of my.
Yeah.
Oh.
So everybody who goes there through that corridor, every time I see that room, the walls are red. It reminds me like as if they're inside a body. It reminds me of basically blood, but not like the dry blood apparently like we see on the bodies that are just, after they get shot or killed basically. It's like as if it's living. It's very odd. I don't know if you ever watch it again or next time they're in that room, just pay attention to the color of that blood. I call that blood red walls. They look like they're seriously like they're alive. And then another one reminding me of actually body parts, I guess, is when they are in that cave where Bernard finds that hidden, I guess, access to open the door to the hidden laboratory. When you look at it, they're kind of standing in a corridor somewhere. And I'm telling you, after taking like medical classes and being in medical field for a while, that thing looked like an ovary to me. I know it's weird, but like seriously, when you look at it, it's round and it has like little things, so it looks like fallopian tubes. And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's so much imagery about life over there. Who knows, maybe life being created. Very odd. And they had that painting, right, where Ford was explaining to was it Bernard about the human brain being hidden as an image. So yeah, I think they're playing on that. I think there's the purpose behind those images.
Oh, definitely. There's, you have creation everywhere. There was lots of play on words and philosophy and all of that in there. Also, if you notice, Bernard's remembering everything, even the events with Elsie. If you're wondering why she's fully makeup and looking good after 4 days of squatting on a bucket, I think he's in the cradle. Hax thinks Bernard's being interrogated in the cradle. I kind of think that him and Elsie are there trying to figure out what to do, and he's envisioning future scenarios. But I don't know. Hax is probably right, but I kind of don't want it to be right because I don't know.
I think Jen is she stepped away for a second, but so Johnny, question for you. I know we may be stepping away from a couple things, but in the last episode, we see Bernard still being kind of confused and just standing there, not talking much. And then Dolores, when she one of her last scenes was where she tells Teddy, she has this kind of a monologue at that point because he's being held back. What do you think about Teddy's Teddy having some things downloaded or uploaded into his mind? Like, what if, because later on we see Abernathy being caught, right? Like at the end, with the new episode coming up, they see kind of a preview. They show us a preview. What do you think about actually Teddy having would it be, I mean, do you think she copied anything off of Abernathy before he was taken away, and now she's uploading it into a living host, or no?
Well, Bernard checked it out, and it had a one-time use key on it, emergency use key on it, and it hadn't been used yet. So I don't know that she did that. Let me think. Oh, I lost my place.
It's okay.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. My husband got home kind of early for today, and my dogs were going crazy, but everything's settled now. I lost yet the reason Elsie looks good, even though she's been squatting on, and she kept saying protein bars, but those look like ketchup packets to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
on the Dolores thing. I think she might just be she's either trying to awaken Teddy, which she doesn't think he can be awakened, so I don't think that's the case. I think he's going to be more like the Wyatt cronies, the ones that don't talk and they just shoot.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like a drone for her, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. But then later we see his body, right? He's empty, completely empty. What if instead of putting something in him, in his mind, she actually took it out? She took it out and transferred it to Bernard. What do you think? That's why he said, I killed them all.
His mind is already in a backup location. That's how they make new ones if the CPU gets destroyed. I don't know if the backup location is the cradle. But there is a backup location. So even if but I don't know if she knows that. She says she remembers everything, but I think Bernard knows more.
Let's go to the chat for a minute. Broke Black Man has a good comment here. BBM David A. Okay, let me pull you up here. Okay, Bernard used the one-time only key only and saw what it was and was shocked. Not sure if he just straight up deleted it or uploaded the information into himself. But if he did, would Elsie know?
Not yet. She wouldn't have any idea at this point. She might figure it out. That might be why we don't see her around. I'm not sure, though. I think he definitely looked at it. He might have downloaded it. We don't know if he had time. He was all jacked up, but he has been trying to still complete his task, even though he is all jacked up. So I wouldn't doubt he tried to download it. But I'm not sure. He might not have to, but
so
I don't know. That's a good question.
So I have a question. Does anybody think that the ultimate goal of what is going on here is to combine perhaps human and host for more of an eternal life situation for the rich?
Well, yes, that's what William was doing. And then you've seen when he was older, the Man in Black, which we'll refer to him as, he decides it's not a good idea anymore.
Okay.
Basically, rich assholes like you don't deserve to live forever. Something what he said.
He actually puts himself in that bucket too, like rich a-holes like you or me. Yeah.
Ian Trone says Westworld is a song of confusion and timelines. I couldn't agree more, but so entertaining, so good. And yesterday, so we saw, we had talked about, I believe, on our last Westworld for Beginners that you were a part of, Johnny. We talked about, that was the one after the safari. And we talked about, I specifically talked about, I really wasn't sure what was going on there. Either it was multiple parks or either it was a timeline difference, because everything did look very realistic to Imperial India, like back during Queen Victoria's reign, so to speak, back when England kind of ruled India and people were going there on vacation like that and taking advantage. And I think so. Have we decided now it's multiple parks?
Yeah, that was Park 6. Yeah, but that was the current timeline, like that's going on.
Right, and they're melding over into each other.
Right, all the parks are leaking over. Maeve has leaked over into Shogun World, and who knows where else she's going to go. Hopefully, many more places we get to see.
Very cool. Very cool. So Shogun was actually a time period in Japanese history which spanned from 1185 to 1868. And Shogun is actually a title which...
there's the Edo period as well. That's the specific period.
Which means military dictator or generalissimo or a viceroy. So basically, you would be a shogun of a certain area because you had an army, and very dictatorish.
Right. Yeah, they had like 300 dynamos, daimyos, whatever you call them. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing it. Yeah, it was feudalistic Japan. They were all the way of the samurai, and that was I believe the period they were in was the last period before the fall of the samurai, when Tom Cruise fought against the Americans with them.
The Last Samurai. I've seen that movie. I happened to be staying by a friend's house one time, and that happened to be the only DVD that she had. So I've seen that movie like half 100 times, actually. And I think that guy was actually in it, wasn't he? One of those actors was actually in that.
Yeah, he's in every samurai movie. He was in 47 Ronin. He was in all kinds of them.
Let's get to Ronin. A Ronin is actually an outlaw or a wandering samurai with no lord or master, a mercenary, a hedge knight, if you will. So it can happen at the death of the master, or what I think has happened here, he has just decided to go rogue, or either he had incurred his master's displeasure. And that's how you become a Ronin.
Go ahead, Eleanor.
Actually, I think I'm going to be quiet for a while because I don't know if you can hear it. In the back, they're cutting our grass today. Darn it.
You can't hear it. You can't hear it. You're good.
I can't hear anything.
Okay. Let me know if it gets too loud because this is ridiculous. I forgot about it. Actually, no. Go ahead. I was just in a chat, kind of chatting with everybody. Please go ahead. Unless you had a question for me.
Oh, yeah, Jen.
That I was just, going over. I thought that was very interesting. And then what's the English guy? Maeve is kind of, he's helping her, but he's also trying to get away from her. He's installed the keypad or whatever, and she's
Lee Sizemore.
Yeah, she warned him a few times. Oh gosh, I just completely 100%. Lost my thought. I swear to God.
I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. You know what? I was like, okay, so we see him pick up the head of a ninja, and he knows where they're at. And he's like, oh, fuck. We got to get the fuck out of here. And then all of a sudden, here comes those samurai running up on him. But so we see ninjas, which is also very cool. And a ninja is a person trained in ancient Japanese martial arts and employed especially for espionage and assassinations. Mm-hmm. So very cool. So that's all I had on the history. And going back, another thing I had took note of, I take note of different things because my brain works differently than normal people because I am not very normal. When they meet who is it that first sees them, and she's like, it's us. It's our story. And
it's armistice.
Yeah. And
they noticed that butterfly, right? The mariposa, or however it is pronounced. The butterfly, right? Okay. That's the name for butterfly.
Yes. And they're taken aback, and they're also they're put off by that and a little bit mad. And one of the things, and I don't know, this could all come to nothing. I can remember a chat we had back season 5 about Game of Thrones where we talked about, in particular, somebody was going to need a saddle to ride a dragon. That shit never came into play. It never happened. This might turn into that. It might be the same thing, but this is where my mind went. How old girl has the snake tattoo or whatever. Well, then the other girl has the dragon. Well, in Chinese astrology, there are 12 animals. The only mythical creature in the Chinese astrology is actually a dragon, which it goes by year. It goes, the moon makes a circle around the earth once a year. That's what it goes by. And just the snake in the Chinese zodiac carries the meaning of malevolence, cattiness, and mystery, as well as acumen and divination. And the dragon and the snake can get along if they'll accept each other's differences and move forward and work together. And then dragons are powerful, kind-hearted, successful, innovative, brave, courageous, successful, and enterprising, but they're also arrogant, relentless, and elusive. And I think that's what she might have been by a snake can become a dragon. In Chinese mythology, the dragon is upheld because it's the only mythological creature, like the tiger, the rat, the snake. Those things all exist. So you're always working to kind of be on the higher consciousness of the dragon, I guess. That's
Dragons are more godlike.
I mean, that's all I can take from that. But I think perhaps that will come into play, but we shall see. We shall see. And you were mentioning something earlier about the girl with the snake tattoo, how the head is going to end up being Wyatt's head.
Well, that's what she's saving the last bit of ink for. Now, she's been woken up. I don't know if that, but they don't lose their narratives. They remember everything. So she remembers the massacre. She remembers Dolores killing her and Arnold. So, yeah. And we see that Maeve is heading the opposite direction, but for the same place as Dolores. So they're gonna meet up, and she's gonna try to kill Dolores, I'm sure, at some point. Whether it'll happen or not, I don't know. I think we're gonna get at least 5 seasons. So not this season.
I just hope they won't space them out like a year apart, because that will be that's cruelty. That is cruelty if they would do that. Unless they
do it.
Perhaps Dolores is representative of maybe a more malevolent leader, and even though Maeve is not all good, she is fair. And perhaps they're going to end up, maybe it's not going to end up being human hosts. Maybe it's going to end up being those two against each other at some point or in the end.
Well, Maeve was just a hooker. She's all good. Just because you're a hooker doesn't mean you're a bad person. And she was a madam anyway.
I definitely don't think so. That's not what I mean, though. Really, okay.
When you look at you mentioned Jenny,
that's okay.
Johnny, you said a hooker, right? And that kind of says, something bad. But look at how Maeve is. I mean, she was a hooker, and she's the good one. And then you have Dolores, this girl from, this nice and sweet girl, and then she goes, crazy. She just goes nuts.
Kreskin, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bangers term. I love it. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to the bangers.
Yep.
I think everybody in the chat's a banger.
Probably.
No, madams are not evil, okay? And everybody's a prostitute in their own way. Everybody sells theirself a little bit for something. I swear to you. All right.
I'm
Where's
free.
the Frosty review, BBM? Where's the Frosty review? I haven't seen it.
Oh my gosh, I done lost what the hell I was thinking.
I'm so sorry.
Help me, Omar.
Sorry, I'm just
help me, Omar.
About what? Like just the topic, because I hear Frosty and I hear BBM. I know he has a video. You haven't seen it?
I have not seen it, and there is
I gotta watch it.
Story to the Frosty video.
I don't know when he posted it. BBM, do you have it on your? If you have time to answer, I know you have it, right? I know you have that video somewhere. Do you have it on your channel, or
BBM, put a link up in here, babe? Put a link up in here. I have got to see that.
Yeah, it was a good one. I mean, all his videos are great, but that one was funny.
What we were talking when this is truthfully the backstory behind that, if I may, BBM. We were talking about BBM's a big McDonald's fan, as am I. I had many birthday parties there when I was younger, and he was talking about he was on this Wendy's chicken sandwich kick, I believe. And I'm like, have you had their Frosty? Because I just seen a commercial that said Frosties were 50 cents for the whole month. And he was like, no, I've actually never had a Frosty. And I'm like, oh, well, you should get one and do a review. Or somebody else said you should get one and do a review. And yeah, I would like to see that Frosty review video. Especially if somebody who's never had one.
Yeah, he says you gotta scroll up and gangbangers. So it's.
I will. Okay, you guys. I'm sorry, and I just want to answer Connie real quick. Yes, I always have to carry, no matter what. I always have to take it back to some history because that's just who I am. Okay, you guys take it away.
All right.
Go ahead, Elmar. You need to speak.
I need to speak. Okay. The grass cutter people are done. I think.
I can't hear it.
You can.
Nobody can hear your grass getting cut, Elmar.
Oh my God! It's louder than you guys. So it's funny. I'm trying to like tune them out. Oh, there's one thing because I hear Emmanuel here or oops, a lot of sound now.
Emanuela, does everybody call you Manny? Can we call you Manny?
Yeah, because I'm not sure. I don't want to butcher the name.
Yeah, name butcher.
And we were just talking
about. Yes, we
we
call you Manny. Ian Trone also says we can't hear the grass.
She gone.
Connie Super says, LMR, are you a host?
She is.
She is. She is.
She is gone. You got a question? What do we want to talk about?
Manny, thank you. Yeah, because I don't want to chop that name up. There she is.
Sorry. My kiddo just burst in saying, "Mommy." So yeah, sorry, I had to kind of. I was looking. I have two screens right now, and I was trying to see. Okay, where do I have the thingy for the video? I couldn't find. Like, okay, I just need to click on something. Like, how do I get the sound off? Well, he barged in.
I mean, but I got to tell y'all, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this episode so much. I mean, it was so entertaining. I mean, it was really good.
Sorry, I remember what I wanted to say. So,
good.
Chatting about the science channel and all that stuff, and there was another note I made about in the beginning where we get the credits and all that lovely black and white images. There is an image. I forgot the proper name for it, but it looks like the picture of the universe, of the known universe, but not the white part showing the stars and galaxies, but the flipped image, like the dark matter or dark energy, how it is kind of veined together, like the nerve endings and the circuits, basically. So when I was looking at it, and I don't know if it's the same intro every time, but I swear to you, like, I'm gonna watch it again. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it, but on two of them, it basically is the image of the known universe. And I'm wondering, why would they put it there if it's so similar? Anyway, just something I noticed.
I think it's injecting it into a cell, if I believe. I think it's a cell. Mm-hmm. It looks like a cell, and then it spreads out. I haven't really looked at it deeper. It almost, makes me think of a virus or, something spreading inside of a body. But I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to check that out. Also, I wanted to bring up with Maeve when Sakura.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm countrying it up. Had the cherry blossom branded on her back. That really signifies the fragility and beauty of life, and that life is beautiful and ends very tragically and suddenly. Also, with her dying, that leads me to believe that Maeve's not going to have a good reunion with her daughter.
And actually, the name is Sakura, or however you pronounce it. That is,
I think it's Sakura.
Sakura, yeah. Meaning is exactly. It's a cherry tree. So that's I looked it up. It means cherry. And yeah, like you said, she's beautiful because he, what's his name? The guy who wanted her to dance for him,
The Shogun, yeah.
because of her beauty and her just the beauty was yeah, she was the beautiful one, apparently the young one, the beautiful one. And we see it as very short-lived, like you said, Johnny. She's beautiful. Like life can be beautiful, but it can be very short too. Like her life.
In Japan, they take their cherry trees very seriously. I mean, not only do they have they really enjoy a cherry over there. They really do. I mean,
Okay.
they do.
Not touching that.
I said I was the beginner here. I don't mind it. Connie Super said, LMR, I asked your mowers to please use scissors to keep the noise down. You're welcome.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. There was some sound static on your line. What did she say?
Connie Super said she asked your mowers to use scissors while you were on the computer. You're welcome. BBM said he's trolling us about the next part kind of being like Space World, and he says he better stop before DJ makes a video about it. Stop, BBM.
They're gonna redo Apollo 16.
Yes.
You didn't hear?
Okay, Manny, great point. Yeah, people are very. This is what I guess I meant with, but it came out sounding so country and stupid and illiterate. You can get killed over taking somebody's cherry tree in Japan. I mean, it's a very serious thing. Like back in the West, stealing a horse was a hanging offense. Cutting somebody's cherry tree down or stealing their cherries is a killing offense. It's very serious. Very
those are beautiful when you look at them. They're just beautiful. The petals,
not only for their beauty, but for their cherries.
Yeah, yeah.
George Washington. He's a cherry chopper.
Oh wow.
I believe he could tell a lie. He was a politician. Okay, we're off topic here.
Yeah, I see there's a comment here from David. He says, that wasn't a brand or tattoo, was it? The tree was straight up carved into her back. Yeah, that thing looked painful. And obviously tattoos, when you get a tattoo, the skin gets kind of raised.
I think I can speak on this.
Yeah, having something carved in there, like
that's how they do tattoos. I believe ancient Japanese tattoos is they kind of have this little thing, and they say after you get one, you have a dream about one of your ancestors if you're lucky. Like an ancestor will come visit you that night. I've heard that before.
That was not even a tattoo. When you pay attention, like if you look into it, it was deep. Like that tree trunk was actually going into. I was like, how much flesh does she have? I mean, that was going deep right by her spine. I was like, okay.
I think that's what the Japanese people consider a tattoo, though. Like I've seen they still do the traditional ones, and I've seen it on a tattoo
they look
shop.
like a normal one.
It's kind of almost like a brand, but almost like a tattoo. It's kind of like, it's very deep. It is very deep. I mean, it draws blood, more blood than what a normal tattoo does.
So normally, with a tattoo, you inject something under your skin, and with that one, you mean like tattoo for what she got was like the skin was taken out, like carved, right?
Well, they use a stick and jab it with ink.
Like it kind of looks like a little.
It looks the same, but it hurts a lot worse.
What I saw on TV, it looks kind of like a little chisel, and what I saw this was it was, and they call them something, but it kind of looks like a little, and they dip it and then chisel. So, but supposedly they're very painful to get, and supposedly if you get one, you'll have a visit from an ancestor that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one.
Maybe it's the chemicals inside it that kind of make you kind of cross the barrier of something. Cross and go.
Oh, then I'll definitely get it.
Oh, that's a good one. Tell us what you see, Johnny.
Fever
Good
dreams.
Lord.
Fever dreams.
Hey, maybe, you know, if you get the tattoo of the weirwood tree.
Not a bad idea, actually.
Stone says she looked carved like a Christmas ham. I mean, it did. It looked deep and it looked painful. Let me tell you something else. I have one tattoo and I have it back there. Yes, I have a tramp stamp. Okay, that's my age group. And okay, that's the age group I fall into. Okay, yes, and so I have one down there on my lower back, right there on my spine or whatever, right there, and that was very painful, and I felt bad, you know, quite a few days afterwards after that. But you know, everybody reacts to tattoos differently, so.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't imagine her having that gun on the spine. I mean, that's where all the nerve endings are too, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's just a robot.
Well, yeah, is she right?
I'm just I'm trolling.
Oh.
No, I'm not showing it. I'm not showing it, Manny. It's a sunflower. It's a sunflower. I'll give you that.
Oh, God. Can we see it?
Man, it's so bad. I really, you know, I would if I hadn't have went through so much pain with it to begin with. You know, and I got this when I was 18. It was bad decision making at its finest. I'll say that. I mean, if you are going to go ahead and get something permanently on you, pay some money, you know, get some, I mean, take it serious. That's all I'm saying. One day, I tell you, I'd really like to have it removed, truthfully.
Just do a tattoo over it. Do a tattoo over it.
That's, I heard maybe a recover. I just hate the area that it's in. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, I'll show it just because since I said.
Oh, God.
Okay, can you see it?
No, let me see.
You can't see it? Can you see it?
No.
I don't know. My face is blocking it.
No. No, actually, the light is so bright. Basically, we can just see. Oh, yeah, I see like a little bite.
Oh, I thought it's not even that big.
Tiny one.
Well, thank God. That's all I have to say about it. Thank God it's not even that big.
No, it's not. It's not what I thought it would be. And
that's actually higher than a normal tramp stamp.
So it doesn't qualify.
Thank you for that, Johnny. Thank you for that, Johnny. I appreciate
You're
that.
Good. That normally is lower, and then it's covered usually by your pants, so you're good.
Thank y'all. I appreciate that. All right. Well, that makes me feel better. It's not in a normal position of the normal tramp stamp. That's good.
What I saw done lately,
Jen,
what I saw done lately is basically along the spine going up. So you have a start to it. You can go up.
I guess I could. There's actually a pretty good place within walking distance. It's actually the same shopping center I work at, and on the door it says open like 2 p.m. to whenever.
Oh God! Are you gonna go on that one?
Whenever is spelled out in slang.
What I was surprised that tattoo shops are open 24/7, and I asked somebody, okay, how do I know that I would get a fresh artist? Like, how do I know? I need to see their time card. If they're at the end of their shift, like I don't want to have anything to do with them. But you know, when they're fresh and ready. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've heard that, Manny. Thank you, Mackenzie. Jen said it's not bad. I've seen worse. And actually, a girl did it, and she was my friend, and I let her do it, and she has actually since passed away. And that's one of the reasons I don't really fool with it, because I like to think about Amanda sometimes.
Nice.
She got killed in Atlanta, Georgia.
Bad. Switching topic, if I could, I have a note here about what are your thoughts about Ford and him being alive or dead, or the reason why I'm asking is when they went, whichever episode it was, first episode of the season, or I guess when they approach him and they go through that courtyard, I guess, like there are flies everywhere and maggots everywhere, right, on the bodies. But when they approach Ford, he is actually quite fresh, if that's the right word. And there's a whole, you know, progression. How do you get to a fly? Like, what's the deadline for it developing into flies? And on him, there are no flies, where on everybody else there are flies. So he doesn't get dead as others.
Yeah, there are maggots, I think. But you also see it on the tiger as well. And we know the tiger's fake. I don't want to subscribe to the Ford's still alive theory. I kind of want him to be dead. I know he still has a hand in everything. He's read a program. If he's alive, I think he just downloaded his consciousness into like a mainframe somewhere, and it's controlling the game basically. And that's like his final thing.
Like an artificial thing. Like he has his mind, but not the body.
Right. If he is alive. But I think he more just wrote the code and has the game set up for William, Dolores, and Maeve. They're all headed to the same place. All the hosts.
Yeah. And it all has to do with this maze that we keep seeing in the story, correct?
Well, the door. The maze was the host finding consciousness. That's why the maze wasn't meant for William.
Okay. Duh. All right.
Oh, that's cool.
That's why I like to be the question asker on this one for shizzle, because I really I find Westworld extremely confusing, but mega entertaining. I mean that and actually The Handmaid's Tale are the only two shows running right now that I actually really look forward to. I mean, I do look forward to Naked and Afraid. I'm not gonna lie about that, especially. I saw a rerun of Naked and Afraid the other day, and I know this is getting off topic, but we talk about all manner of things here in the Wolf's Den. This chick told this dude that she said, "You believe in spirits and ghosts and whatnot," and you know she just happened to be with a partner from Louisiana, so of course he was like, "Yeah, absolutely, I do." And she goes, "Okay, well, I had to basically have sex with an incubus." And he goes, "Well, I mean, I ain't never had sex with a demon, but I'll take your word for it." And then next thing you know, these two start psyching each other out, basically, is what I was seeing. He starts talking about the Rougaloo, which is like the Cajun Bigfoot. And then there was a part 2 to it. And for some reason, my Google Matricom was messed up, and I didn't get to see the part 2 on that, and I was disappointed in that. But I'm looking out for that part 2 on that one.
You might see Bigfoot in Westworld.
You think we will see Bigfoot in Westworld?
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
It could be.
There's a question
here. It might
here.
be a world with dinosaurs.
Hey, that would be fun. Jurassic World.
No, I just thought about that.
Okay.
There's a question here from Eduardo Blanco. He asks, guys, is Elsie, the new Elsie, a host? Well, I think she is.
I think Bernard's just remembering it. That's why she looks all
I didn't think that she was. I didn't think that. Why did you think that, LMR?
Well, she says something about trusting hosts, or not trusting humans as much as she trusts hosts. Then the whole idea. I mean, she has been in that cave, and if the plan was to fool somebody or fool Bernard that she's been there all this time, that she didn't play it well. I mean, she was I don't know how many days she spent there, but this is not how somebody will look like. I mean, I'm sure she would be angry. Maybe she would cry. Maybe she would sneeze and she would have stuff all on her face. Her hair would be greasier after a couple days in that. We don't know what the weather is over there. Like, what is the bucket for? To drink from or to use it? Where's the water? I don't know.
I want to welcome Rich to the chat. We all hope you had a great birthday.
Hey, Rich.
I love
Happy belated birthday. I don't know if...
I didn't think that.
I don't know how much I can take that.
Was not that.
Because remember when he's with Elsie and she's opening the door and he's trying to talk to her and he's like, "You're not here with me," because he's remembering it. And when he's trying to find I think he's remembering all of that part. That's why she looks the way she does. It's not, but you could be right. I don't know, but I don't have enough evidence.
Hey, DJ11, thank you for stopping by. It's nice to see you. It's very nice to see you. Thank you for passing by. It's good to see you anytime. All right. Johnny.
Oh, I was done.
I'm sorry.
So what are your thoughts about what's his that dude, oh gosh, Stubbs. Is that his name? Stubbs?
Stubbs?
Where he I keep thinking that there are different timelines even for the people who we think are people, not hosts. Because it's just like, why would everybody disappear over there unless he is living through that again? Like, unless he went through it, something happened, and he's on a loop there again by himself, like Dolores was somewhere by herself. Now Stubbs is over there by himself, kind of reliving it. And when, somebody puts a knife or something, and went like this, and it did not kill him because it was just a memory. For me, that's the only explanation why he would be there without anybody. And all of a sudden they're all gone. It reminds me too much of Dolores and the first season when she found herself kind of repeating her loop by herself, imagining people around her.
A couple of things. Ghost Nation did say that when everyone forgets who you are, that's when you'll die, or something of that nature.
Yeah, that's when you're gone.
Also, the
person living remembers. Yeah.
Ghost Nation seems to be collecting all the people that Ford don't want to be killed, like Grace, and they just let Grace go. I mean, they didn't even turn around and look at her.
Okay.
They were like, "This is where she needs to be let go at. We'll let her go."
I'm glad you mentioned Grace, because remember, Grace told, I'm sorry, you guys, I don't remember his name, but the kind of buffer dude, one of the rescue people, she told him she was not trying to get out of the park.
Yeah, that was Stubbs.
When they were tied up, and he's like, the cavalry's coming or whatever, and she's like, I'm not trying to get out of the park.
Right. She's on a mission. I don't think she wanted to even meet up with her dad necessarily. I think she's on a different mission to figure out
I think so as well.
What took her mom and dad from her.
Or basically. Either I think maybe she's on a mission to get even with her dad in some kind of way. That was my first thought, but I'm the beginner.
Maybe. I think we're only going to see her one more time this season.
Mm-hmm. You mean one more time as the Emily Grace we know, or?
Yeah, the actor I think is only going to be in 3 episodes this season, so we've already seen her in 2. Mm-hmm. But that's what I heard. Might be wrong.
Elamar, you want to go to the stuff in the chat? BBM's got some good points and whatnot.
Let's see. So there's a comment. Do you want to start? Do you know where you want to start, Jen? Or I see one here from BBM. It says, at Rich, Ford must have uploaded the race storyline in her before dying.
Hey, bye, DJ.
Yeah.
I was talking about the comments. I think they are collecting everyone because we see they say those random guests we saw in episode 1 of season 1. I thought they were board members, but they are not.
They were selling those to the Confederados for money. They were still kind of on their loops, I'm assuming. And they were off their loops and free, but they were like still thinking they could make money and stuff. If you hear Rebus, he's like, 12 gold coin, whatever he was saying. But he thought he was going to get money for them that amounted to something. But they're not fully awake. Sorry.
Yeah. There's a comment here from Marie. It says here, they are saving people to take their DNA because Ford has a God complex. I mean, that he does. All of the stuff that he says.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and how he says
it. Oh, sorry, Bernard did say that it seemed like he said he only took one of the little brain mainframes or whatever you want to call it from the section. He said Ford had me take another for a human. So we don't know who the human is yet. I think it might be Arnold, seeing as I believe Ford, I know he had a God complex, but he did say that he thought Arnold was right in the end, and that, well,
yeah,
I don't know if Ford wanted to live forever.
Rich says, Grace. Oh, shoot. I lost it. It timed out on me. It timed out on me.
It says Grace Emily definitely went through some shit because when she escaped Ghost Nation, she was all wet and disheveled, but then she sees Men in Blacks. She's wearing full cowboy clothes and cowboy hat. And then David says she went to the Coach store on the way, got her new, and then I lost it here.
Then she killed everyone in Sweetwater. That would be sweet. If she was the one that killed everyone in Sweetwater, she just blasted them. That's how they all died. That would be sweet.
Because Dolores / Wyatt didn't, they rolled up on that and it was already done. So it wasn't their band of,
Theory video. No.
And then Throne says Charlotte is a time-traveling hybrid host. Well, she seems to be jumping all over. Yeah.
Hey, Nancy T, welcome.
Hello, Nancy. Let's see. Oh, what were we talking about? I was writing down notes.
Grace.
Okay.
Okay, now
I hear the lawnmower.
It almost sounded like a cow for a minute, truthfully. I've got cows and blue tongue and flies and maggots on the brain, I guess.
Oh, gosh. No cow, just coyotes here. I'm going to turn the sound off for a sec.
So, yeah, Ford, Grace is definitely part of the game. Ford's maneuvered her that way. I don't know that she's... I don't know if she's... There's one person that... Definitely one person that's a human hybrid host that's out there. And I'm still trying to figure out who it is. Anybody in the chat know? Or think they know who the human hybrid host is?
I definitely think that too. I have that in my notes. I think that initially that's what some of the people were using the park for. Like some people were board members, whatever. The park was just what it is, a park. But then other people had other ideas, and now some people have changed their mind, and basically it's turned into one big clusterfuck over there.
Right. Well, William was running the project too, and he seems to have canceled it, but he let Delos suffer for a long time, I guess, as revenge.
I think he did that on purpose. I don't think he cares very much. That's his father-in-law, right? I don't think I don't think there's any love lost there.
For him in the beginning, there's so much acting that is done just by the expressions that they use. They don't even say anything. Like you can see the progression in the beginning when he comes in to I guess his father or James's room. I can kind of see that there's still sadness in him, but later on less sadness, and obviously we see when he's already the older guy, Men in Black, there's completely nothing. He doesn't even try to work it gently to him. He just says it as it is. So we can see how he's progressing, how he's kind of losing humanity, or he's not humane anymore.
Chrissy thinks that Bernard is the human hybrid host. She says someone made a video on the theory. She believes it's in Deep Geek. Iron Trone says Bernard equals Teddy equals Dario equals Garyon equals Mance equals Jacquin.
Nice. Yeah, I put out a video on that this morning.
Very nice.
I don't know if Robert did one. I've been gone. I probably accidentally copied him then.
When you're using the same source material that, and I know that from Game of Thrones, it's hard to not end up overlapping other YouTubers, and nobody copies anybody. It's just, when you're all working from the same source material, it's only makes sense that you're going to come up with some of the same theories. Otherwise, you're not watching the same show or reading the same book, truthfully. So,
right.
Great minds alike, yeah.
Exactly, that great minds think alike, etc.
Yeah.
Well, I just think Ford knew somebody needed to lead them, and Maeve's gonna be on her own, I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was actually talking about Ford too. When he said something, it said human engineers were not up to the task, so I created you. Again, kind of obviously a tinfoil thing. I mean, when he said human engineers were not up to the task, so I'm thinking, so are you not a human engineer? Or are you not an engineer? I mean, he is an engineer. He came up with this stuff. This is his theory. So, again, I wonder what he meant by that. I mean, obviously, he might have meant just, okay, other engineers, human engineers, were not up to the task. So I created you, talking to Bernard. But still, like, why would he not classify himself as human? And he just doesn't say something and makes a mistake like we can. He's precise. He's like a machine. Talking about Ford, I mean.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, maybe he actually died long ago and showed that the plan he had enacted was going to be carried out because he knew what William was trying to do and trying to give people immortality, and he knew how much that's not a good idea, I think, because he seemed to evolve. I mean, even though he still is a sociopath, I believe he agreed with Arnold's theories or thoughts about the host at the end. Anyways.
Yeah. So he is very much, we see him mistreating the hosts and what we think are humans. But he says that there needs to be suffering, right? But he seems very much there, like he seems very odd, like not like a very healthy, psychologically healthy human. So I wonder, like, if he lost his humanity somewhere at some point, like what happened to, speaking about Ford, like what happened to him to lose so much goodness? I mean, he says, oh yeah, I want you to evolve and you're going to evolve through suffering. But that dude looks like there's like no joy in his life at all. Like he's on a quest, like on a quest to do something. I wonder what drives him. Like, I wonder what his story is. Like, everybody there has a backstory, but him, like, do you remember? Does he have a backstory? Maybe I just missed it.
I have a theory, and this is going to throw everything else I said into the water. But okay. I think Arnold was never Bernard or looked like Bernard. We'd never heard Ford's father's first name. I think Ford's father's first name was Arnold. I think they created the park together. He's in the picture in the park, but Ford portrays him as not being a good dude and Ford not liking his father, which it still don't make sense why he would be in the park with. I don't know. I'm just thinking that Ford, and then Dolores kills Ford's father, and then that's why he hates Dolores so much, when she asked, are we all friends? And he gives her that grimacing look and says, not exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, There could be something to that, but that's going down the rabbit hole that gets my head hurting.
Even more pain, right? More suffering.
Right.
Hey, maybe that's the purpose. We're suffering here.
My backstory.
Are we becoming, are we turning from hosts to, oh my God. Yeah.
All right. Marie has a comment here in the chat. We'll go to our Marie. Ford has programmed it all, even to placing Elsie where she needed to be, because Ford knew Bernard would need her at that specific time, and he made sure she had enough to help her survive.
My thoughts, exactly.
Ford knows ahead of time what's going to happen because it is his program.
So with that, like, is he?
Or I don't know if he knows exactly what's going to happen. I think it's more like he has an outline. And then he's trying to see if the outline goes according to plan, or if these kind of almost testing to see if, like your video about, do the hosts have free will?
Right.
So
I still don't know.
Do you think that my thought is that they are not completely, like, the voices. What are the voices that they hear? It can be, Bluetooth, Ford's program talking to them, or whatever you call it. I still don't think that this is them, that this is only them. They may be, they may hear something and then they act on it, improvise on whatever they hear. But I think he's steering them somewhere. It's not just them. I don't think it's just them and their thoughts.
I don't know. Maybe they were just designed that way, or at least a few of them were. Because Lee Sizemore did remind her that you're not speaking their language when she couldn't stop. That's why she couldn't stop Ghost Nation, I believe. She wasn't speaking their language. And Sizemore also said, they're off the loops. They're not going to speak English. They're going to speak their native tongue because they're off the loops. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense too. So you have to use the right language, computer language. And they are all, like he said, they all have it in them. They just need to access it.
Yes. I believe she found the subconscious code that taps into the hive mind, and she can manipulate the hive mind.
Yes, and remember, she also did all those upgrades on herself.
Right, her cognitive ability is all the way up.
Yeah, she had them make her, as much as she can possibly be, basically. So she's a little bit ahead of the game.
Something interesting about Maeve is we don't see a lot of her backstory except for her and her daughter, and we don't know how long her and her daughter had even been in the park, because William killed them 2 weeks before the first episode of the first season. So we don't even really, that's her backstory, but we don't even know how old she is. I know she's been through the loop a bunch of times, but I don't know. I don't remember seeing her in Sweetwater during the massacre with Arnold. So she has to be a newer host. Yeah. There's a different head madam in the past too, when not Jimmy, I'm thinking of the actor's name. When William and James Delos are in town, there's a different madam, and then you see Armistice as a sheriff, and you see all these other people, but you don't see Maeve yet. So, maybe she's the human host hybrid.
Okay, Phoebe, Maeve wasn't an original host that we know of.
Right. Not that I know of.
I think that today, I'm not sure, Johnny, I think after watching your video, or at some point today, that was my question. Maeve, where did she come from? We see all those other people or hosts, but we don't see her. Exactly, Johnny. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make that one.
Yeah, do make one. Just take notes on it and do make one, because we see almost everybody. up to yeah. Yeah, and Dolores was the one in the beginning, and then we see that that hostess in the beginning. She's there too.
Angela.
Angela, yes. But there's no sight of and was Clementine there too at some point playing piano? So she's there too. But where's Maeve? Yeah.
She is the next generation prototype.
Oh my god. Who was it? Was it you, Johnny? You were writing the Terminator lines.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Get to the chopper now.
Exactly. That was funny. That was funny.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Dolores is the Terminator.
All right, you guys, listen, does anybody have any questions? I think we've just about talked this episode out. I mean, unless
I could go for a couple more hours.
Oh, do you?
No, I'm joking. I probably could talk about it that long, but
Right. I mean, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, for that one, we can go for hours. I mean, this is Westworld. It's just that our brain.
Right.
It's the middle of the week, right? And
I do want to say that one of the things I really enjoy about the show. I know there's quite a few people that say Dolores gets on her nerves, but I just want to say this about that actress, and I do know her name, but it's escaping me for this moment. What is Dolores, the actress's name?
I with names.
I know it. Rachel. Is it Rachel Leewood? No. Evanwood. Rachel Evanwood. Is that? Yeah.
She has she's a hell of a rider. I mean, she can really ride. She can really a lot of the actors really put some work into their horsemanship on this, but I mean, she's a hell of a rider. Yeah.
Yeah, and for this season, I don't know if you noticed. I noticed that her eyebrows got really nice and darker. Her face, her like features, the way her makeup is, the way her eyes. Now you can actually see them being blue. Before it was kind of like all hazy, but right now I don't know if they put contacts in them to make them stand out more. But her eyes are nice and blue, and she has nicely defined eyebrows. Where in the previous season she just kind of had very blonde and kind of undefined features. This is just what I know.
I've always thought she was extremely pretty. I've always thought she was extremely pretty. Ever since I think maybe the first movie I ever saw her in was that movie 13, based on the book, and then of course The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, where she plays his daughter.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
So long.
It
shows them straightening Dolores' hair too. Sorry.
Dolores,
I just want to make a point on Dolores. You know, it shows them straightening her hair basically in the opening credits, and then if you notice, she's like talking 80 to 90% in the white voice, and maybe only 10% in the Dolores country accent. So maybe we should watch that and see if she gets any more Dolores.
Most definitely.
But she's basically just Wyatt now, for the most part.
Do you remember that movie? It's been, again, I'm aging myself, a long time ago. Ghost in the Machine or something like that?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Johnny, are you familiar with that one? Probably not.
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah, it just, I wonder if that had anything to do, or not that, but like if whoever wrote this and finalized it, seen that movie and kind of sees, about how to upgrade, how to turn, I guess, a simple mind into this genius. And
or you could just go to the recent movie Split. When somebody has multiple personality disorder, they say their mannerisms change. Of course, a lot and you've been in this, you're in the site, you have your degree in psychology. They say that your mannerisms, some people either don't believe in it or they 100% believe in it. The community is very split over that. I think the medical community over that, but they say yes, your voice, your accent, your knowledge, your mannerisms all change in that. Do you believe in that?
Almost as a coping mechanism for trauma, and seeing how much trauma Dolores has been through, I think that's kind of what she's suffering with. So,
depending on what kind of mood even I'm in, I can be seriously country or maybe really not that country. I mean, no, really, with the whole accent thing, though, it really, and also if I'm impaired in any way, like if I've had a few cocktails or whatnot, the Mississippi just comes out of me. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do.
I didn't get that. Like, there's nothing you can do to like, or
stop
you can't.
that accent if I'm kind of a little bit impaired.
That is funny. I know that trauma releases some things in us. There are a couple instances where people, and this is like from the studies, who, let's say, like children who, let's say, were not speaking, and then they went through something traumatic. Whatever you consider trauma, and then all of a sudden, like, they start talking. Like if they go through something to trigger a response. So yeah, I can completely see like the whole thing behind the need for, I guess, suffering, the need for change, like because they all are living in that loop, right? Nothing changes. And you said like if you are introduced to, like, let's say a substance or an event, that will mess everything up and send you on a different loop, or maybe not a loop, but like, a point where you go from there.
Right. Yeah, I think that's why James Delos is still stuck on a loop too, because Ford had been working on getting them off their loops for so long that he finally perfected that as well, and it's been unleashed in the park for mainly the first time. We know that a handful of hosts got off their loops on multiple occasions as practice, but I think he was waiting for that before he took the technology from the corporate research group in Delos, or William, and when he took that, he was ready to enact his plan.
So a thought on that, about them developing this new stuff, that secret lab where James was being, I guess, cloned or whatever you call it, that thing belongs to Delos, right? And they were successful in cloning the body, but they had issues with transferring the mind, the consciousness. So again, this is Delos' technology. And didn't Charlotte and somebody else at some point mention that they still don't know how he does it? He meaning Ford. Like, we still don't know how he does it. So we don't want him to get angry and destroy all his toys, or take his toys and go home, technically. So if Delos was so close to that, it just is logical that Ford already mastered it. I mean, Delos company, they don't know how the thing actually works. Once you get the machine or host going, they can do, they know how to upkeep the thing. They know how to fix it, I guess, but not how to give it so-called life. So
the brain seemed to reject itself, the fact that it was even in an immortal body.
His
and I think
and stuff, his cognitive,
just like the bartender Elsie was working on.
Mm-hmm.
And he oh God, I lost my spot.
I'm so sorry.
Anyways, the bartender that Elsie was working on was doing the same thing, and then you have
the guy dealing poker as well.
Right.
It's like something is not, they don't quite have the formula right for whatever they're doing or were doing.
But yeah, Ford said they needed time, and I think maybe, I'm thinking more Maeve now. Maeve needed that time. I don't think she's even realized who she is yet, or if we'll figure out who she is. But yeah, he said they needed time, and that would explain why. You know, maybe they need time to figure out that they are a host and they are a robot, basically. And then once they figure that out, they can handle the truth that they used to have a past life.
Okay.
Maybe that's the formula. I don't know.
Broke Black Man says, possible it just rejected James Delos and worked with others. They were close in probably a year or two, according to the Man in Black.
Right. And I think if Ford had any access to that place, he would be closer. Him and Bernard working together definitely are probably smarter than most people, I would think. They know more about the host.
But wouldn't Ford have his own place somewhere? I mean, he had that cabin that nobody knew about. So what is, because hosts were the ones going through the park and they were programmed not to see it. So what if he has his own laboratory or had a laboratory like that?
Could be where the door is.
What door?
That could be it, possibly. The door that William's looking for. Also, the Valley Beyond or Glory.
Yeah.
Whoever you talk to, the same place.
Yeah.
But we did see a picture of the door. It looked like it went down into an underground bunker of some sort or something. I don't know what's in there, but maybe it's that.
There was a theory by somebody, and I just can't recall who said it. Maybe it's somebody here. Maybe it's you, Johnny. That sorry, I know I'm kind of popping in and out from different chats, not listening to all of it because of my time constraints. But anyway, so there was a theory about Emily Grace or Grace Emily looking for a way to bring her mother back because she was who said it because she killed herself. Her mother killed herself, and she's just trying to find a way of maybe finding that place, that door. What do you think about that? Like, if she's actually trying to bring her mother back.
It's possible. And but she also she doesn't ever plan on leaving the park as well. I don't know.
That's what I thought as well. And also, when I think about her, what sticks with me the most is am I not correct in thinking that's the Man in Black's daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right.
I was scared to say that. I'd be like, no, Jennifer. I'm like, shit, I don't even know. Okay. So remember when he was like, and my daughter told me that it was no accident. So when she's like, I don't plan on leaving the park, and then we hear him say that, the foremost thing on my mind was she's seeking some kind of revenge on her dad. Like, and possibly, you're right, maybe she's looking for whatever that spark is that you need to bring somebody, or maybe that you retrieve from somebody. As we did talk about, we had a little talk of DNA, stealing people's DNA and whatever. Does anybody want to talk about cortical fluid?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that thing leaking from his ear. There's a comment here from David. It says, it will turn out that the real Westworld is somewhere else and they are all doing a Truman Show of the Men in Black, LOL. And then Marie says, I think I'm assuming she means Emily Grace will help Men in Black destroy the park. And then Iron Throne says, at the end of the series, Anthony Hopkins steps out of the shower. Oh, God. Heck, we don't know. I mean, yeah.
Ford's going to wake up from a dream, just like Brian.
Oh, my God.
Oh, goodness. Oh, Lord.
No, I see. With what's her name, Emily Grace. I keep calling her Emily. I'm gonna call her Emily Grace. So with her, I like Men in Black, right? He said that in this park, you kind of this. I mean, I'm not. This is not exactly how he said it, but I'm saying it this way. This is how you find out who you are, right?
Your nature, your true nature.
What if what he found? What if he didn't like it? Like he discovered it. Like he was good on the outside. He was playing. Like we are all playing something, right? We have the way we behave at work, at home, with friends, in private, whatever. We have different
faces. You should mention that because one of the names of the episodes, I can't remember which episode it was. Johnny, get me on this one. It was Verti Fortuna. And Machiavelli talks about the difference between good fortune and fortuna in the Prince. And they're different. They're different. Like fortuna is not luck. It's just kind of like when the universe aligns and everything kind of happens. Okay. Yeah, fortuna. And everything kind of happens to go your way, but it's not considered luck. Whereas fortune, good fortune, is kind of considered luck. Mm-hmm. So I'll do some research into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Too. So, but my point, when Machiavelli says that, he says that everybody, that you don't need to be good to live and exist and rule in the world, that you just need the appearance of being good. That's one of his main themes.
Yeah, completely. That completely makes sense too, because we are in a society, right? We have to follow some rules to kind of coexist with everybody. If we're not part of it, they will either lock us up or we'll be dead, or we have to leave and live on an island by ourselves. But what I'm saying is, what if Men in Black, I mean, he goes in there all nice and good, white hat and all that, and then he discovers who he is, right? And then he just lives it. Like he lives it in the park, but he says that he never did anything bad to his family. They never saw him being bad. That's why he came to the park, or that was my understanding. He lived that out in the park. But then that might have changed him, and because of what he did, his wife is dead and his daughter is against him. What if he actually wants to destroy that? What if he actually wants to keep whatever is hidden in other people? Maybe he sees evil in that kind of stepping out or living out our fantasies. What are your thoughts about it? Would he have something against people discovering who they truly are, and if they're evil, acting on that evil? Johnny?
Well, I think at first he just wanted to use it for blackmail purposes and the whole immortality thing. But I believe now, he wants to burn the whole thing to the ground. He sees it as a place of where, even if it's just the host and they never rebelled, you've got a place of evil sin that these people pay money to go terrorize things for the most part. I mean, not everybody in there was bad, but, for the most part, what they were doing was pretty awful. And then the whole immortality kick, he realized that later in life that, that wasn't a good thing. And on that note of the suicide, I believe he said in the first season that his daughter blamed the park and him, like that he was in the park all the time.
Yeah, she blamed him for always being gone and for not basically being in the present. With, you know what I mean? Kind of letting that, didn't she? She blamed him for kind of letting that whole project consume him and kind of become him, and kind of his family just fell by the wayside. And I'd also like to know a little bit more about her and her husband's relationship.
You mean William's wife?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know she found out about Dolores. It seems like it because Grace won't sleep with the host. I believe that's mainly for that reason. I don't know what she found out. Maybe Ford. They were always blackmailing and recording everyone, or maybe Delos, or Logan possibly saw something, or I think Logan just told his sister what happened and all kind of stuff, and maybe showed her some proof before he overdosed on super heroin. And possibly that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, because she looked. There was this look on her face, but I guess she herself also visited the park, but that was before I guess. I'm assuming before they were together with William. So she had her couple rounds over there at the park. So she knows.
But remember, the man in black talked about, you know, coming with his family and doing the family friendly thing for years, and then kind of breaking away and going to the parts of the park that were more adult, I guess.
Yeah, still don't see like how just bringing your, because you have to live somewhere, right? And unless you live in a village, why would they want to live in a village? If that keeps me thinking about what the world looks like outside. If they are just there with the family trying to go fishing, is there no fishing spots outside? I can't just find a cabin. Is the world so much post whatever that you can't find a fresh stream? And you know, even if you have so much money, you just go fishing with the family, look at the stream and trees, pay so much money per person. That again reminds me of what is going on the outside. Like, why would I get the fact that they want to go and be violent. Maybe there's no violence and they need to release it somehow. There's no no violence is allowed outside, but why would they go fishing?
Yeah. Well, you also have to remember though that when we're talking about this family, we're not talking about just upper middle class people or rich people. We're talking about 1%ers. You know, we're talking about people who have money to burn, who can wipe their ass with money. So you do have to do have to remember that. So they're always seeking, you know, something greater than, I guess, or whatever. You know, why go to a normal mountain or a normal stream when you can go to I mean, I guess that's the way I see it, and always kind of have seen that family, because, you know, we're talking about these people, these billionaires that you know, people who don't even shop for themselves, who like have somebody who like, oh, do you like this? Do you like this? I mean, you know, they don't do anything for themselves or whatever.
It's a form of time travel as well.
Very hard to entertain them. Exactly. So it's, you know, it's the most elite vacation that you can take, basically. So that's the way I'm looking at it. And hey, any of us normal people who have ever been to Disney World or Epcot or MGM or Six Flags, that shit is very expensive. So imagine these people would think that that was probably rather mundane or just, you know, run-of-the-mill type entertainment. And
I'm sure overpopulation is rampant, along with famine and, you know, deforestation, everything, overfishing. You got all kinds of things that are going on now that if we don't stop now in 2052, we'll be screwed. So I see a bleak world out there, bunch of extinct animals.
Right, and that's another thing. We really don't know too much about the real world in this world. You know, not really. I mean, what we've seen their party at the park, and you know, maybe their transportation system, and maybe what we thought was the inside of somebody's home, but we really haven't seen the world.
You know, what confused me a lot, maybe you can help me in chat too, like if you can chime in, that would be great. When at that point, I think it's Arnold, right? I'm thinking Arnold showing Dolores the outside, and then he takes her to that house. He says it's the house that he's getting built for himself and for his family. But I don't get it. Like, then he says that he wants his family to live closer. So what is it that we are seeing? Like, the park is on an island, right? I'm thinking. And they're in that main place where all the trains come out from. So when we see the buildings, like the actual downtown of some sort, then we see that they go to the street level and then they're in that building. What is that building? Like, where is it at? Johnny?
I don't know. We think it's the outside world. Probably somewhere in China, maybe, because we saw the Chinese government pull up on the beach.
Right. So I mean, that's all we've seen. So we know more about Westworld than we do about the actual world and what is going on in the world war today. Am I not right by that, or am I missing something here?
I'll mess you up a little more. When Angela was talking to Logan, he said, "Are we here?" And she said, "Yes, we're in Westworld. This is Westworld."
Okay, and Chrissy...
So that confuses me too.
Right, that's confused. Look, Westworld is uber confusing, like, no doubt about that. Chrissy of Old Stone says HK probably, Hong Kong probably. One True David Adams. The street signs were in Asian writing, LMR.
Yeah. But then how did...
Asian?
Yeah. But then how do they... That's the
we know what you mean. We know what you mean.
Yes. Oh God. But I'm thinking, like, how do they get to? I forgot the name. Basically, that station where they go into the mountain, I guess. Like, how do they get there? Because we don't see their journey to the place. Like, and wouldn't he, meaning William, because he said, okay, when are we gonna go to that Westworld? And he said, oh, we're already in here. Or in there on the train, and then the train leaves that mountain. But how do they get to the mountain? Like, it's an island, right? And that was one huge island. If they can fit so many worlds over there, but then the map, wasn't it circular? Kind of like
I think there's like a hive with floors, possibly. Almost a hive-like structure. If it's not I don't think it's a tall building. I think it's inside like that mesa, that tall mesa.
Yeah.
The top of the mesa is the Mesa Club, and then you got all your levels. We did see William and James Delos flying there on a helicopter, so we know it's accessible by air. I don't know that they do that. There might be a tram that runs from the mainland under the ocean that goes straight there. That would probably be the simplest and most discreet way to get someone there without seeing a lot of planes land there, because you would think you wouldn't want people knowing where it is. So I would say a train underwater, but hey, I don't know much.
Okay, Milt K has just joined the chat, and he has an explanation. Hold on, I lost it. It timed out on me. The finished subtitles in season 2, episode 1 stated the latitude and longitude of Westworld, South China Sea, so they travel by boat or air. And welcome, Milt.
Welcome.
That is a great explanation. So both air. But then when you look at it, kind of there are six different parks at least that we know.
We know of, yeah.
So when you look at
and Disney World, and I saw where Justin Thomas, I believe, did the comparison of Westworld to Disney World. Disney World has a tram. You know what I'm talking about? Look, my friend, this is off topic, but my friend was seriously on that, like, over 30 years ago, and it caught fire, and they literally had to be rescued off the Disney World tram and get on the roof of it. No, I'm serious, but yeah, I mean, true story, crazy thing, but yeah, but Disney World also has exactly what you're talking about there that goes in between all their parks, and I believe it does go out of the park too to a certain station where you can park and then go that way to Disney World. I haven't been in a long time, but I have been 7 times.
Yeah, that is fun. And for them, like even
fun. I love amusement parks. Certainly used to. Certainly, when I was much younger on vacation, if we pass anything with a ride, I was screaming, "Let's go to the Busch Gardens or whatever.
Yeah, see that they're building attractions for everybody, right?
I mean, if I'm not having fun at Con of Thrones, if it ends up being a con, I'm gonna go to Six Flags. I ain't even gonna lie. I am. We've already talked about it.
Yeah, just take a train and go somewhere else, right?
I hope it's not a con.
I don't think it is. I think it's going to be very Game of Thrones-y, but my husband was talking about it. He would like to go to Six Flags.
Yeah, that's always fun. We have them here too. We have one about an hour.
I like their water park a lot.
I'm spoiled with the water park. We have the biggest one in Chicagoland area here in our stuff. So nothing compares to the one we go to here.
Nice. I used to go to one in Colorado that was built in the side of a mountain, so you didn't have to climb a bunch of stairs and stuff. You just walk up the pavement. But they closed when the sun went down because it got so so cool. When the sun would go down, and the desert is like that as well.
Park, probably. There's a comment here, but before I read it, I wanted to mention like they have under because we see those trains going underground, like that's how they all travel, I guess, quickly to different spots. We see those trains or whatever you call them going in those tunnels underground. But there is another comment here from Milt. Okay, it says there must be a combination of terraforming and projection technology to show all those landmarks, though. No way they could have terraformed Mount Fuji last episode. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. Like the technology, we're just assuming things because they don't want to spend time on explaining it to us, and there's no need. Sometimes we can make that leap with our own imagination.
They've been working on Shogun World before, around at least when the show started.
Yeah.
So, and the terraforming works pretty quick from what we saw last season. I wouldn't say they did that in a couple of weeks, but maybe a month or two. We don't know how long they've been working on Shogun World.
Yeah.
We just know they just got finished.
Yeah, but so I always thought that. So Johnny, you're saying that they just started working on it and just finished? I thought that they were working on it just as they were working on. Meaning, just because we saw people from that world being kind of worked on, I don't think it meant that they were working on it like developing it. Just like,
I mean, it's like a newer project, not that it's just brand new. Like first episode we see, it's brand new. Then I think they've been working on it, and it's the new, like one of the newest projects they have, because they said it's for the more intense than Westworld experience. So I'm not saying that I don't know when it was made, but I know it was made way after Westworld. It's one of the newer ones.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee did say he had to write all of the narratives in a 3-week time span, so that does narrow it down as well.
Mm.
So
yeah,
I don't know. It'll mind screw you every time.
Yeah. So how many did he say? I missed that one. How many did he have to write?
Like 300 narratives in 3 weeks or something like that. That's what he said.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It's not plagiarism.
No, right? And plus, I mean, you can't plagiarize yourself. If you wrote the Westworld, right. He can, copy paste.
Oh my God, it's us.
It's us, right? Oh my goodness, that was interesting. That was really interesting. Let's see, a couple comments here. It says, Iron Throne says, none of the Westworld worlds seem to have things that go high in the sky, so it could be an under the dome thing. And then Milt says, could be dome or some field that you can project onto for sure.
Well, that would be if everything we're seeing is someone in the cradle and it's just a simulation, then you got an easy answer there. I don't like that answer, but it is possible. But I do think we know Bernard's in the cradle, and I believe that's how he's remembering stuff right now. We see the previews coming up, him and Elsie. He's going to put on the cradle. I think he might get stuck in there. Something's going to happen. He's going to find something out, and maybe he's this Carl Strand thing, because every time you see him and Carl Strand, doesn't matter. You hear, doesn't matter who's talking, one of them are starting to glitch, whether it's one of the workers, whether it's Carl Strand, whether it's Bernard. You can hear the glitches in the overlay. Oh my God, my TV just came on. Hold on.
I'm sorry, Johnny. Who's Carl? Please remind me. Who's
Carl Strand is Floki.
Oh, Floki. Thank you. That's the name I should be using. God, he's really nice in that. He really looks good in this one too. Oh, not too.
He isn't doing all this.
Sorry.
He isn't doing all this. Acting all crazy. Floki's awesome though.
He's great. I love that actor.
I do too. I do too as well.
There's a comment here from BBM. He says, "You can plagiarize yourself." And then here, professors didn't want me to use my same papers. You're right, completely right. I had that issue too. Not that I wanted to stuff, but I did ask. I'm always with the one with questions. Hey, can I use my? Nope. Even though it's my stuff, you can't get your grade. You can't get like you can be graded for the same thing twice, basically. Anyway, kind of off topic, but yeah.
Yes, the thesaurus is always your friend. The thesaurus is always your friend.
But that could be in the dome as well because the environment's so bad. I don't,
It could be. That's a good reason. That could also be a good reason, not just more of extended life or immunity to disease, but also an environmental thing, like a way to,
a new world.
Yeah. So to
as Dolores would say.
Yeah.
All that beauty out there that surrounds us, and we can't find. Teddy, but when is you say that you want to run off together, but when you say someday,
Teddy.
When is someday, Teddy? Teddy, when is someday?
Teddy should have slapped Dolores.
Teddy can what?
Teddy should have slapped Dolores or something. So get it together. Shake her really, really hard, something.
Can you see Teddy doing that?
She raped him. She raped Teddy.
That is amazing. Oh my God. Like Dolores slapped that fly on her face, and then being all yeah. Oh my gosh. I can just
talk about getting screwed, and then you talk about somebody who got used, man. He got used worse than one of Maeve's girls, really. She did it and quit it, and then
that was really cold. I don't know about
that was cold-hearted. That was cold-hearted.
I did not dig that scene. I don't know why. Maybe I'm spoiled, but I did not like it that much. There was something off about it, and apparently it was a little bit off because she did something to. At first, I thought she's gonna kill him, like she's gonna have him, being like, remove his whatever brain or something. But I guess they just upgraded him. But yeah.
All right, Milk K's got something in here that we have talked about this. Yep. Milk K, did any of you hear that crazy theory by a well-known YouTuber about Dolores being pregnant?
Yep.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Bridge 4, I think, Kevin from Bridge 4. Yeah. This is the one I heard. I don't know if anybody else did that theory, but he has a theory about it.
Milt says, laugh out loud, no way machines can create the spark of life. And there,
Blade Runner.
I said that
Blade
earlier.
Runner.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I was saying. We were talking about what is Grace, exactly what are her intentions. And then I talked about that, maybe, just that spark of life, of humanity that people talk about, especially in science fiction.
Yeah, I wonder if that is that would be something interesting. Currently we don't know, well, religion and everything aside, like what is life? Like, how do you create consciousness? Just creating life itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you can create life, first of all, from nothing, just combining different things together, to create an actual living thing. I'm not just talking about a person or an animal, just a living cell or whatever you want to call it.
Right. And like
consciousness.
I mean, I can see where you could have a machine at the very least give, I mean, but how would the child grow is what you see what I'm saying? We'd have to have some cell reproduction and stuff going on there. And it would no longer be,
cell reproduction, you can make a cell.
I hope Teddy planted a new narrative in there. You know, just
like the new. I mean, it has to. It's not something.
He planted a seed. He planted a seed.
Well, yeah, but from any show, I guess this would be the show to give us the answer to create something. I mean, this is complete sci-fi, right? Like, so if any show were to tackle this, this would be the show to show us new life being created from machines.
Yeah,
it's an over-exaggerated scene, and they've shown a lot in the opening credits to point towards something of this nature. But
yeah,
but that's what we were talking about too, though, because I understood where LMR was going earlier when she talked about that thing they keep showing. It does. It looks like ovaries back there. If you've ever been, of course, you haven't been, Johnny. I mean, I would almost bet maybe you have with a girlfriend or something, but. You don't see stuff like that except for like at the gynecologist's office. I mean,
or in school if you're taking classes, like if you're required.
Unless you're in a human anatomy class or like a reproductive class or a sex education class. You don't. I've certainly never been to somebody's house where they had some bad sipping painting. I never seen anything that looked like some ovaries hanging up in somebody's house.
Yeah. But you know, that painting of the brain, I mean, why would he there is a reason why Ford showed that painting of that famous painting showing a brain in plain sight, and it took so long for people to see what it is. And here we see that corridor that Elsie and Bernard got into, and that looks heck of a lot like ovary and fallopian tubes, and then that imagery of blood in that map.
Good night, Eduardo. Good night, sweetie. Thank you for stopping in. We hope to see you at book club.
Good night, Eduardo.
Good night.
Go ahead, Elmar. I'm very sorry.
No, that's okay. So yeah, like those things are there for a reason, and and then Milt says, unless nanotechnology is used, I guess. So who knows? I mean, this is the show to maybe show it to us. And kind of we have to take that leap. I mean, aren't we already taking a leap with hosts, machines who think that they are human? Maybe they are programmed to be human. But what is it to, like, if I think that I'm real, am I not real? I don't know. Maybe I'm not real. But I think I'm real.
We've already determined that. We've already determined earlier in the chat when you went off, you're a host.
Yeah, I was just shutting down, right? It was a glitch. Yeah. So, but for them, go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
I don't believe they're going to show us how all of the technology works. I believe they're going to leave that a little bit open for speculation.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how a lot of it works, but we're still going to get to talk about it forever, I think.
I hope so.
But yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to throw that in there. Sorry.
I didn't have anything to say. Not anything meaningful.
No, and for that whole thing. Okay, let's say they're because they can copy their mind into a different body. That I'm sure of. I think that's what's kind of happening. That's why they're all emptied out, kind of virgin bodies without anything, like as if they're just new and fresh. So they're somewhere. I don't think that they were just dumb.
I had thrown in the chat, host reproduction. What if they mix their cupcakes and make a baby with mixed cupcakes? We talked about cupcake brain actually before the chat started, and you missed it. At my Con of Thrones yard sale Saturday, I sold a mini Hostess cupcake maker for $2. $2 I did.
And you got us all hungry, and I have no cake in the house right now. All of
yes, Chrissy, red velvet with cream cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, I like a black and white cupcake too, Milt. They've got a good Duncan Hines mix. that actually you can and it comes with the icings and everything. They've got kind of a more upper scale Duncan Hines mix, and one of their flavors is the black and white cupcake. It's pretty good. It comes with the bag too. You just cut it at the end and the pastry bag. Yes, very good.
Yeah. Now there better be some food. I don't know. We're talking food right now. I don't even have any snacks here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You're not hungry, Johnny?
I don't know. I can't stop thinking about cupcakes now. I don't even know what we're talking about.
And Lord Wolverton hates a red velvet anything, you know, so every once in a while I have to just get myself some red velvet. I love it. It's a devil's food that is actually just colored red.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
I am the queen of getting off topic, Chrissy. I'm sorry. It's kind of fun though sometimes. We get so serious in here. Sometimes it's just a little bit fun to bust up.
There's a comment here from Iron Throne. It says here, let's see. Next time you eat a cupcake, you are eating a host's brain. Oh my God. Ooh.
Or a human brain.
All right. Marie says her battery is getting very low and she needs to charge it. So she's saying good night to everybody. Good night, Marie. And if you're free, we hope to see you Thursday. I believe it's Daenerys 4.
I think so.
Good night, Marie. And that's what they all say. Their phone's dying. Mm-hmm.
Before it was static, and right now it's the batteries, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Having technical difficulties.
Oh gosh, I'm guilty of it too. My computer, my laptop, and my everything seems to be dying, and I always look for an outlet.
Wait, you're doing it too?
No, my thing is plugged in. It's already here, but I'm saying like at work, I always look for that. Like my phone is always half dead, and I'm like rushing.
Right. Mine too.
Oh, we love you, Marie.
Marie said bye.
Bye, Russell.
Oh man.
Say bye to Marie.
Bye, Marie.
Thank you.
Say gang banging for life.
Say gang banging for life. Say gang banging for life, Russell.
You're gonna do it.
Like what?
You're gonna do it. He went oddly silent. He usually talks.
Yeah, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
Cooking because his wife won't.
Say it again, Russell.
He's busy cooking because his wife won't.
Oh.
Dun dun dun.
I forgot to pull something out of the freezer. I'm sorry.
So Teddy has the blue tongue now? Is that what we were saying?
That was something. Did you all like? I knew something is up. I mean, she was odd before she slept with him. There was something off. I mean, she seemed so emo to me, and even after that,
here's the place we've come so many times before.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
there's absolutely no reason for them to ride out there, you know, to their spot or whatever you want to call it, especially when they're basically in the middle of a freaking civil war. I mean, I knew the minute they rode out there, you know, where they have had quite a few conversations, there was no reason for them to ride out there, and they're in the middle of a freaking war. Yeah, you could tell she was getting really weird.
And I have to say that I would have enjoyed that scene much better if it wasn't this kind of Dolores. I don't know why. To me, it kind of seemed forced.
Dolores was one of my favorites last year. This year, just really, you know, I enjoy the other characters so much more than her. Angela. What's the girl's name with the snake?
Armistice.
Yes. And
yeah, I mean, I do like her. I do like Dolores in general because there's something about her, but she doesn't. To me, she's a completely different character. She just has the same face, and I do enjoy her character.
And I guess that's on purpose.
Oh yeah, so I do enjoy her character. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I enjoyed wanting for the original Dolores to finally snap, but then she snapped and now she's a different character. It's just the same body but different approach or mind. And I'm enjoying it. I just want to see what happens. I kind of miss the old Dolores with just a bit of tweaked, more anger and more openness without just going completely, 180 on us. But, it's fine. We'll see where it goes.
I think we kind of have to hate Dolores right now. Who else can we hate? Who else can be the bad guy, really? We don't know what Bernard's going to do. He's up in the air. We know Maeve is definitely the good person. So we got to have the bad guy. And then MIB seems to hopefully be getting his redemption arc.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Good catch, Johnny. I like that, that we need a bad guy because there's always a need for a bad guy.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. You got to have kind of somebody you're not cheering for, basically. So I get that.
Love to hate them.
And then what's up with Clementine? Who else feels sorry for the old Clementine?
I feel sorry for Clementine. I think just too much, kind of almost like Dolores's father. Like she's just right there teetering on the edge of completely just losing her shit, just completely dropping her basket.
Yeah. And I feel so sorry for her. I mean, that girl needs basically a long night's sleep and then like some
Cortugal fluid.
I had to go. Food and just a shoulder to cry on or something because poor girl. I mean, yeah. And then Chrissy Volton says, "Is Clementine mute now?" Like, and then Milt says, "Well, Clementine was lobotomized last season." Exactly. Like so. That is sad. I mean, but wasn't Abernathy also lobotomized? And then he kind of speaks, but maybe he has maybe nothing was downloaded or uploaded into Clementine. That's why she's so emo all the time. I feel sorry for her, and maybe, obviously Dolores has a reason why she's doing this. She needs basically cattle. She needs a herd. She needs numbers. But I guess means justify and whatever. I feel sorry for her.
Cammy. Hey, Cameo. Cameo says, is it just me or is the last episode kind of boring? I don't know, Cameo. I'm kind of going to lean towards just you, girl. I loved it.
It was different, wasn't it? There was a lot of humor and we had...
Yeah.
It was not what it like beginning. This is what I was thinking. I was doing a quick rewatch of this, trying to relax before this, and I thought, okay, they caught us. The hook was violence and sex, right? That's all people want. They want more violence and they want more sex. This is what we're used to. So they caught us within the first episode when we see all that could be seen. Like we saw more things than we were ready for. At least I wasn't ready for so much in the beginning. Now that,
but I get it, Cameo, and you're allowed to have your opinion. Certainly, Milkade makes a good point. Clementine, to me, always had the best revelries. I don't know if it's because she just has such a distinctive, gorgeous face or what, but he makes the point. Clementine still has revelries, though. She remembered her lines in the saloon, so she may be going
sentient
soon.
Yeah.
Well, Clementine can be fixed, and also, if you remember, they took James Delos out, and I believe they might have fixed him somewhat.
Okay,
but also, if you think about...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
If you think about how differently Dolores and Maeve reacted to trauma, maybe Maeve reacted differently than James Delos did to trauma, in a sense to where she's just staying quiet and really shocked by what's going on and just kind of, I don't know. But I believe she can be fixed.
Here's my question. Abernathy, that's Dolores' father?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
He's kind of two different people as well, right? Like...
He's had 3 narratives, I think, that I know of.
That's when she's like, they got my daddy. That's Abernathy, right?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm keeping up. Shit. It is different. I'm the beginner.
She remembers him as her father. I'm sure she had a different narrative before because we see her in the real world while they were presenting.
Like Angela.
Yeah, exactly. But this is what she remembers, or maybe this is what she is choosing to remember. But then later on, she has her, there's a different father, kind of in place of the original one, but she's not tied to him emotionally, like we see. So they can choose. They're not all programmed. She's not responding like, oh, I have two daddies. No, I have one father, right? And this is my father.
Okay, BBM in the chat. I gotta go to him. First he says, not sure if they can fix Clem. I think Felix said he could, but if he didn't, why didn't Maeve tell him to fix her? Why? But if he could, why didn't Maeve let him or whatever? Okay, BBM also. I don't like Arnold love. I don't like boat sex or whatever you call Grey Worm's romance either. Cameo says Johnny looks like a young Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
Chrissy of Old Stone says BBM. I don't think she knows Clementine is like that. Milk K. I'm wondering who gave Maeve those awesome Professor X powers.
Yeah.
Well, they might have to get Clementine a new body like Maeve got, but her CPU is still in a mainframe, along with all the other hosts programs.
And I think I mentioned it in one of the streams before, but I wonder if they keep a spare clones of the bodies of hosts. Like if somebody is really messed up, really bad, and they need to have a quick turnaround because the guest wants that, person host before, or do they have to, or maybe not because what's her name? Maeve had to be remade.
They can make it in less than a day.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they probably don't have to have them, but I'm thinking, yeah, they're either going to find a machine or maybe there are some overstock.
Mm-hmm.
But, headshots, they would definitely need a new body because you can damage the cortical wall. So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to Jen.
Yeah, so I wonder, who gives her, Ford was able to control everything just with his mind, right? So right now Maeve is doing the same thing, and like you said, Johnny, in the beginning of the stream, or maybe was it before we even went live when you said that Maeve was not even the original one. Like we saw, Angela, and then we saw Clementine, we saw Dolores and other people, right, or hosts, but we don't see Maeve in the beginning.
No. Yeah, I think we talked. I can't remember when we talked about it.
I don't remember. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Maeve it seems to be somewhat new. We know she's been on a loop and left the park a few times, that she's done this before, that her and Bernard have talked before. Don't know how many times. But she's not in any of the original scenes, not where Arnold's being shot by Dolores, not in the city. So she's definitely a new host. But she has to have the reverie, so she's not a part of the original host built by Arnold. But any host that was built by Bernard is technically built by Arnold, if you think about it. So, yeah.
Plus, you have hosts being built by hosts, right? So that's, if you can increase their intelligence and whatnot to 100%, then you get machines building better machines than I guess you can build, like a human can build.
Oh yeah, that's like a computer that has a human's body would. Oh my God, I just got a Woody comment on Hangouts. Thanks, Kenny. You just screwed me up there.
Okay, I didn't see
Oh my
anything.
God, what was I saying? Go help me out. What was I saying?
What were we talking about? About machines building machines and
okay.
Yeah,
okay. So if you think about, your computer knows itself. Your computer can think 1,000 times faster than you. I don't know the exact numbers. Don't kill me, Milt. But you know that a host is going to be infinitely smarter than a human without any controls on.
Yeah.
If you just, like Maeve, I think, is beginning to unlock every single bit of her computing and processing power, and she's going through and looking through everything and seeing what she can do. I want to see her start to remember more things. That's what I want to see.
Meaning remembering more things from her previous narratives?
Yeah, like we've seen when Dolores first woke up. We've seen when Bernard first woke up. We haven't seen when Maeve first woke up. And I think that's very significant. That's going to be a big reveal, I believe.
You're right. All of them we see, not all of them, but basically we see the ones, even Hector, right? He's there. Or I don't know.
Hector. I don't know if Hector's an original. I have to look back at that one, but I know Maeve's not anywhere in there. I can't find her. I'll probably look again one day.
Exactly. Like that Dolores is the it, right? And there's Johnny, and make that video quick. I'm telling you, Johnny. There's Maeve, right?
Right.
Yeah. What is it like? We see Targaryens everywhere. No, but she's truly
human host everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think she's possibly it. Yeah. I think we figured it out. No.
What if her child is actually, there you go. What if her child is actually that mix between that is actually her child?
Yeah, I've thought about that too. But it's hard to really give credence to it yet. You can speculate and try to nitpick things, but I want to say it's possible. We haven't seen any of her origins. We haven't seen her child except in her memories. So we don't even know what she's going to find when she finds her child. If she'll even look the same.
Yeah. I wonder. Plus, I mean, technically for the child to be alive, they need to grow from, start, and they grow. But if the, what's his name? The guy who is actually her captive right now. I forgot his name. The dude that designed everything, the one that says ninjas and then he runs. Anyway,
Lee.
Yeah, Lee. So he acknowledges the fact that says, "Oh yeah, your kid. Yeah, she's in in the park." So if her daughter were actually a child who actually grows, he would not be like, "Oh yeah, she's over there," because he'll be like, "Okay, who are you talking about?" Because technically she would have grown already. So yeah, interesting. I just it's gonna be awesome to see. I wonder how much they will show us this time. Like, is it gonna be just the 2 weeks and a little bit after, or if they're gonna go further than that?
I think it's all going to be a culmination with what's going on with Floki and Bernard.
And Milt K says her child will be a member of Ghost Nation. I'm calling it now. That whole Ghost Nation. What are your thoughts about it?
What do you mean? Like a full tribe member? Like she's going to have the war paint and stuff on, or they got her? They have her?
I'm wondering, like, for that, I don't know if they can have her, like, hold her. I mean, wouldn't they kind of, because it would be so difficult to keep somebody prisoner like that, and why wouldn't, I mean, she could have escaped. What if they maybe converted her, or what are your thoughts about it, like, Johnny and Jen, about the whole Ghost Nation? What do you think they're all about?
Well, I would say that maybe they're kind of modeled around maybe like the Apache, and they don't normally assimilate people that they capture like that. I mean, there's some real life stories of people crossing to California or going places where their wagon train was attacked, and maybe they took the smaller girls. And then in history, when you see them get caught up to or whatever, they have actually been traded off into other tribes that would actually assimilate them, or sold to brothels. I mean, that's just from a history standpoint.
Also, if you think about Ghost Nation, they have not killed anyone yet. Not in all the seasons. We see Maeve kind of remembering, thinking that she's being killed by them, but it's really the Man in Black. So we don't actually see Ghost Nation killing anyone, a human or a host, except maybe when they're fighting, you know, in that one scene where they're doing the cowboys and Indian stuff. But as far as when they're thinking on their own or performing what I think is part of Ford's narrative, I think they're just a part of it, and they're holding on to certain guests. Like, they wanted to take Sizemore. They said, you could go, we want him. And I don't think they were going to kill Sizemore. I think they were going to take him back. They're holding him on for a reason. And they let Grace go like it was nothing. They didn't even turn to look at her when she ran off.
I think maybe
she hit a dude with a flaming stick, and he just stood there.
Maybe like what Milk K says, like they're off the grid hosts, like kind of watching boundaries a bit, possibly. It seems kind of like what they do.
And then here there's a comment right after Mel when he says about the Ghost Nation. David says she's a super host, I think, Maeve's daughter. So I'll bet she'll be a badass or something when awake. And then Mackenzie Burns says
she's gonna live. Sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's her? I forgot her name. The other child died. Yes, Sakura. Yes, she dies. Then Mackenzie Burns says, "How old would the daughter be in?" Let me see. The chat is running away. Be in her mind compared to reality. What if? Could it be that Charlotte would be that age? I mean, has it been 10 years?
No, it hasn't been that long.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure exactly how long it's been, but she
and
was
then
put in the madam role after she freaked out. And, Ford was old then. So remember, she freaked out and killed herself when he tried to erase the memory of her daughter.
Okay. Hasn't been that long. And then Milk K says, I think Ghost Nation is a sanctuary. And then David's asking, are they humans or hosts, in your opinion? And then,
Ghost Nation?
Yeah, and then Milk says, I'd like to say humans or off-the-grid hosts, like you said, Jen. That was interesting because they didn't bullets work on them. Like, they were being shot at, and the bullets were making this kind of puffy smoke thing, like they were usually when a guest would be shot. I wonder
when was that?
Was attacked. Was it when not Stubbs? Somebody was shooting at them. Was it Teddy?
Hector was shooting at the ground at them. Trying to scare him away, but I think you're talking about something different.
In a previous season, I think, when Teddy was, I think it was night, when they were shooting at them. Somebody was shooting at them, and at first it looked like they had vests, like bulletproof vests, but that was just a decoration they had, and the bullets were kind of making like a smoke, like a poof, like little poofs, instead of actually. Looked like they were not even affected by it. Anyway, that's just what I noticed.
Well, it could be programmed to look human, almost like Bernard might not be able to be shot. You would think before everything went to shit, I don't think Bernard could be shot by a host, and he was a host. True. I think that has to do with the DNA thing as well. Just like the drones, like it read your DNA, it knows you're not a threat, and it made a point of showing that Bernard has DNA. So Ford already worked around that.
Yeah. That is interesting stuff. It's still but I noticed that it's already kind of after
I have to wrap everything up. My husband's fussing at me because I didn't fix any dinner. And I better, at the very least, to make sure that he has something to carry for lunch tomorrow. And I've got some chores to do, you guys. And it has been 2 hours and 20 minutes. So we better wrap it up. Questions, anybody?
Yeah, Einthorn says they better give us some Ghost Nation answers this season. I mean, yeah.
I mean, definitely. I mean, you don't really know what is going on with them. Like you said, at first they appear very, very scary, but who have they really hurt? So
Yeah.
it makes you re-question their existence and their purpose.
Yeah.
We have to see how Stubbs gets away too. So I'm sure we'll see a little more on that.
Thank you,
I don't know how much
Mackenzie.
though.
Yeah.
Thank you, BBM. I hope you'll join us again sometime. Yes, everybody. Okay, then I
Right.
guess we'll wrap it up. It is getting kind of late. Everybody, take care and have a great night. And we'll be back Thursday, 8 o'clock, usual time for, I believe it's Daenerys 4, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll be looking into that. And then, like Russell said, I'll be carrying my computer with me to Con of Thrones. I haven't discussed a special stream about anything for Sunday, and I'm not sure. What I had planned next was the Political John video that Fura Hexa did. But last I talked to Brita, she was out of town doing something. So I have to see about that. That would kind of be something because we always go so long when we get into our any of our John and Sansa stuff, So I have to see about that. I think I might just come to you guys with an update about the con. And hey, Bubba, welcome. Yeah, I think I'll just maybe come to you guys with an update about the con and everything I've seen and done and who I got to meet and whatnot and that. And I'm also going to be taking lots of video and lots of pictures. And with that, I want to thank Johnny Be Crazy so much. I'm so glad that he does the Westworld for Beginners with us because I am a true beginner. I really love the show, truthfully. And of course, LMR. As usual, and if LMR will go ahead, and then if Johnny will take us out, there's a link, you guys, to one of Johnny's specific videos. Do the host have free will, which will also lead you to his other videos, and of course, there's a link to LMR's channel as well in the links, which I can do myself now. I know where links come from.
Awesome.
It only took me 9 months. Thank you.
Better late than never, right?
That's right.
Never. Yeah, we're always learning new stuff, so that's all good. It's only getting better from now, right? From now on.
That's right.
Thanks. Yeah. So again, Jen, thank you so much for having me here. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun to chat with you all, especially with the panel and of course with a chat here. I love kind of always sitting in the comments, chatting with everybody off topic and on topic. You never know what you're gonna find here, and this is the fun part. You kind of go in for whatever the topic is, and then we end up talking about cupcakes and other stuff. So for me, you can find me on my 2 channels, Living My Rhapsody, where I do my book stuff, and then on Living Reviews, where I do reviews of things. Right now, it's very quiet. You can just hear crickets chirping because I'm not doing anything over there. But I'll throw in some stuff about later, just to kind of keep it up over there. So yeah, that's my stuff. And again, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So again, so much. There's always so much fun here with your chats, with the book club, and with the special streams that are not always popular theories, but they're interesting theories. So, and there's always a lot of understanding, and we are civil here. We accept everybody's opinion, and we are open-minded. So this is always fun. Johnny?
Yes, thank you for accepting me, ladies. It's been a pleasure. I just want to thank you, Jan, for hosting me and just giving me an opportunity to put my face out there, however weird it may look. I do have a channel.
Your young Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, sure. I do have a channel. It's Johnny Be Crazy on YouTube. And I'll be making Westworld videos and other videos. I'll be making better ones very soon. I'm just getting started, but if you can, just help me out and subscribe, and if you like it. And I'd just like to say thank you to everyone in the chat. It's been great. I just love talking Westworld. Blah, blah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping what you're doing and tuning in with us or watching later. And y'all do, like I said, there's a link in the description. Check out Johnny's videos. They're very good. And they're very good videos for somebody who just started making videos, because we all know making a YouTube video is very hard. That's why I don't have any. All right. And thank you, Elmar, as always. Go ahead.
Oh, I just say, when you were talking about Johnny's videos, I think we were chatting about that earlier today off channel or offline. Just saying how nice it is to see with Johnny's videos. They're short and right to the point. So if you don't have much time, you can click on
Johnny,
it, and you're gonna.
I'm sorry, LMR. Yeah. Johnny, what was the question you ended with on this latest video? LMR pointed that out. I love your videos. That's me and LMR. We're talking. They're quick and to the point, and you always leave a question to kind of open the chat up and keep it going. I'm sorry, LMR. I didn't interrupt so badly.
You know, Bernard grabbed the little ball, or whatever it's called, the brain thing. I can't think of it right now. It's in the chat, but
gotta look at his video.
He grabbed that, and he said he grabbed it for another person or another human. So it's just one, the Neo. So you know, who do you think that is? That's kind of my question.
So this is the
fun part with Bernard, but I've been convinced by LMR. It's Maeve.
See, so this is what I'm talking about. Your videos always end with a nice. I think that's at least this is what I remember. You always end on a question to kind of get the conversation going. So it's like really sweet and short to the right to the point, and you don't leave us only with your conclusion. You leave us with a question. So that's what I really enjoy about your videos too. So good job on that.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. And with that, everybody have a great night, and we'll see y'all Thursday, 8 o'clock Central. Good night.